This is a food that I already know is going to haunt my waking dreams. Hello everybody, Prince of the Bear here, and we're back at Epcot in Japan because something that we've been waiting for 2 years has finally happened.
I'm so excited. And not only is Takumi Tei open, but
I guess if you hadn't already caught it, Takumi Tei is opening, and that's why we're
this time they actually have a plant-based menu instead of like what we had the last time. So I'm super stoked to try their new menu and see what it's like.
We did say the second they changed the menu, we'd be back.
Yes.
Who knew that would be 2.5 years later?
Yes.
So we're back.
So
we have
excited.
a reservation, and we're going to show you what they have to offer us this time.
Be sure to subscribe and come to Takumi Tei, enjoy Japan and all of Mitsukoshi's offerings, because why wouldn't you?
Heard the girl.
Here we have focused on 5 elements that shape of Japanese life, such as wood, paper, stone, water, and ice. Today you have been selected to dine in our wood room.
This is hasu, cause it's a plant-based course.
Thank you very much.
Very good. Yeah, so good.
This is the Sakurajima. I'm pretty sure this is what Bear ordered when we came to Takumi Tei the last time. It smells amazing. It smells like whiskey. It was served in that beautiful, like, smoke? Is that what we call it? I don't know. We have it at home. Smoke?
Wood char.
Smoke. Wood chip smoke, whatever. It makes it amazing. Ooh. Oh wow, that's good. It's almost like a sweet whiskey. It kind of like brings like a citrus to the front of your mouth. It's not as harsh as I thought it was going to be. It's gonna be really easy to finish at like 2 seconds. So 4 out of 5 whiskeys. I'm here for it.
Told me so much of being at home. I love that cherry hickory smoke with like the whiskey stones in the cocktail. I use whiskey stones at home shamelessly all the time. We use them for the Princess's wine. The Princess was hyped when we were outside. Now that we're inside, I'm hyped. I miss this place. It's been far too long. Even for the price that it costs to come here, we love just hanging out in this restaurant, the theming, the experience, the history behind it. The staff is amazing. Cheers to the team members, cast members back. Takumi Tei back open. Yeah, I gotta learn how to make this at home now. It's over. I have the smoke. I can find the whiskey. We're making this at home. We have whiskey stones. That's gonna happen. It's a 5 out of 5 claw. It's 100% bear necessity. It's like it was carved out of wood for the bear. We'll save a little bit for the princess. Definitely bear necessity.
This is the Kochi, which looks very much like an orange juice with mint. Almost like a mojito. Yeah, you can taste the Yuzu in that. The Yuzu is like whew, citrus. Dare I say this is stronger than my drink. 4 out of 5 citrusness. You're gonna love this drink if you want like a nice alcoholic drink. This is a little much for me.
So because the princess stole the drink that I was going to get, because you know how I am with my whiskeys, the next runner up was rum and yuzu. So rum and a very Japanese level citrus cocktail. Ooh. Ooh. It's like citrus, but the tart citrus of the rum makes for a very nice, like crisp cocktail. It is definitely extremely strong, almost as strong as the straight whiskey that the Princess has, but there is a lot more of it. There were no regrets made, though I will give the edge to Princess's drink only because of the presentation and the smoke. 4.5 out of 5 claws.
These serving dishes give me Victoria and Albert's vibes. We definitely had something served in these little ice vats here. We have some cucumber, which I'm here for. I love me some cucumber. As it all falls off my chopstick, let me grab a legit bite. Here we go. I'm sorry, ginger salad who? What? This is fresh and delicious. 100% here for the salad. 4 out of 5 salads. It tosses my salad. It's nice and cold and delicious.
We like a nice cucumber salad with like dressing and everything else in here. Get a little bit of lettuce in here. A nice little bite. Very crisp and fresh. I think it's like a bit of an oceany salad. I detect a hint of like kelp, seaweed in there somewhere. It's got a nice bite, nice and bright. Definitely good appetizer. 3.5 out of 5 claws.
There's some beautiful white sesame tofu. Got some gold flakes here. I feel like I see a little bit of wasabi. Got some soy sauce. All kinds of goodness happening right here. I'm kind of excited for this. Bear's got this on his plate too, so we know it's not just vegan. Ooh, that tastes like a paste. That is really good. I could eat like 4 or 5 of this, and it's like a peanut sauce. I'm really not mad at that. That's like a 4.5 out of 5 tofus. It's very silken and delicious. Not what I expect of a tofu.
For those of you that don't think that's worth it, when's the last time you had gold flake on food? Gold flake on tofu. Look at this. Look how amazing that looks. The color, the texture. I can't even begin to make tofu like this at home. I need to know the secret. Ooh. It's had a kick. It's so silky, it's almost like a tofu mousse.
Yeah.
With the soy sauce and everything else, it's a nice, like, palate cleansing bite. It's definitely got some kick, so watch how much of that soy sauce you take. There's a little bit of wasabi in there as well. Even though I'm hurting, I'm enjoying myself. 4 out of 5 plus.
And then added to here, we have some beautiful, nice cold edamame. You can find it at other Mitsukoshi restaurants, Yusake, across the way. I forgot the name of the place. It was a sushi place on the hill. You get your things. You can dip this in soy sauce. You can have it hot. You put sriracha on it, garlic. Always good. Edamame. Cold, fresh, lightly salted, barely salted, which is the best way to do it. 4.75 out of 5 edamames. This is how you edamame. Although, like, you can go to Tokyo Dining or Teppanyaki Edo and get the same edamame. It's all good.
And we like edamame. This is one of my healthy at home snacks. Living in a house with edamame makes me feel less than. Literally seasoning what you can, both healthy and if you want to go crazy. We talk about often on this channel one of our favorite edamame we got at Umami Burger in California. Last time we went to California, they did not have it at the location that we went to, but we daydream of the different ways that we can make and serve and eat edamame. Excited. I know there are a lot of people that won't agree with me, but I think that edamame is a superior movie snack. Throw out popcorn completely, because popcorn is terrible. It's terrible for you. I will not be moved on this. Edamame is king. And you can't tell a bear otherwise. 4 to 5 plus. So here we have our little spinach salad. It looks like some fish roe on top. Dripping.
So you and so gross.
It does. I'm so happy. A lot of things that I've not had in Japanese food, I think it has been spinach. You don't see spinach very often. That's done very well. And dressed with the fish roe, sort of like mellows out the taste. I never thought spinach and fish roe would go that well together, but I'm very surprised. That's a 4.5 out of 5 plus. Now, the server told us which one this is. Honestly, I have no idea what this is. And you know what? I don't care because I'm having a good time. Fun with food is probably the whole reason we have this channel.
It looks like urchin.
You should say sea urchin. It's been a very long time since I've had this. This is going to be interesting. Okay. If you have an issue with the texture of oysters, like mussels, sort of draw, you're not gonna like this. It's a lot softer with the seaweed tail underneath it. Sort of like a stringy but like crisp texture. Will throw a lot of people with the flavor. The flavor is not to be missed. So if you're willing to try something new, explore with your mouth really. That is so tasty. 4 out of 5 plus. So here we have a twist in the princess salad. Instead of just cucumbers and lettuce, I have crab. A crab salad with a crab claw. A little pinchy. A little like pinch. Crab in the middle. With the lettuce and the tomato. It's very interesting like display and arrangement. Very well seasoned. I'd say peppery even, which I did not expect. The citrus of the dressing cuts through the crab, so you don't get like that oceany flavor with it. Sort of mellows out the oceany flavor and then brings forward, say, like that richness that you get with the crab. That's a 5 out of 5 plus. This is a place that you come for the experience, not the price. This is an all-over foodie experience. If you have the opportunity, we haven't got to the courses yet, you need to try this.
Can we talk about this beautiful little topping right here on top of this asparagus? I'm just gonna move right here so that I can eat some of it without seaweed. Cheers to Takumi Tei opening. Ooh. Okay, so it's not just raw asparagus. It's soaked in seasoning. It's got some lemon in it. It's got a nice like little like yuzu taste. You got some sauce. It's hitting on all cylinders. This is like a 5 out of 5. I wouldn't expect an asparagus like just roll to be this good, but it is literally that good. I feel like it's going to be my favorite of all of these rolls because I'm not a big fan of anything else on this plate. We'll see what Bear thinks.
Poor princess, subjected to seaweed. She does not like seaweed. She calls it fish paper. I call it ocean paper.
I call it fish flakes.
Fish flakes. What do you guys think? Do things like seaweed in the ocean, are they fishy or oceany? I've ever tasted asparagus cooked the Japanese way they're good. Crisp and flavorful, definitely seasoned all the way through. That's amazing. 4.5 out of 5 plus.
And we have a red pepper sushimi. Beautiful little red pepper. Oop. With some rice on top. Don't be fooled by this red pepper. This red pepper is seasoned and fired perfectly. This is the red pepper that you need in your life if you're gonna have sushi. This is a 5 out of 5 red peppers, and I don't actually want Bear to take any bites of this. I don't want to share it. I like it better than the asparagus, which I wasn't expecting.
I'm excited for this one actually. It's like a fire roasted red pepper with like the rice. That is amazing. So nice crisp flavor to it. It doesn't usually get like that earthy flavor that you sometimes get with peppers that sometimes turn eating me off. That is a great piece of sashimi. I'm giving that 4 out of 5 claws. I've never had peppers cooked that well.
Here we go with the one I've been putting off because mushroom. I'm a little scared for this one. I'm probably gonna save most of this for Mayor. I'm very confused. Mostly, I'm usually concerned about consistency of mushrooms, but the consistency isn't bad. And then it's like soaked in like this almost orange or maybe yuzu like seasoning, so it's like citrusy, which is not what I was expecting from a mushroom, and I actually love it. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 mushrooms, which is super surprising for somebody that doesn't like mushrooms, and I would recommend that.
We're barely halfway through this meal, and I already feel like Takumi Tei has put the rest of the restaurants in Epcot on notice. Even our favorite restaurants here, like Vasilier, which probably comes close, but vegan tasting menus, specific menus just for the vegans, that's unique in all of World Showcase. So this sort of like, what's that? Sort of like an oyster mushroom sort of deal. The way they season it cuts through the earthiness that you normally get from mushrooms. If you don't like mushrooms, sort of like an earthy flavor that you sort of get, this will probably be the mushroom for you. It's definitely got a strong flavor, even like a little tiny bite. It is very good. I'm gonna give that 4 out of 5 claws.
Last we have this beautiful rice paper that I just messed up extremely, but it's got like all the good fixins. You've got carrot and cucumber. We're gonna roll it all together into this beautiful roll that I just ruined. You usually would dip this in soy sauce, but it doesn't need it. And a nice sweet like rice roll, and I am in love with it. I would give it a 5 out of 5. I'm gonna recommend this, and you need to come to Takumi Tei, just period.
This is a roll for the ages here. It's for the thickness, the rice paper, the color, the presentation. So exciting. The way they uniquely season everything in those. It'd be so easy to make a vegan menu that was a throwaway. From just like put veggies, put rice, wrap it, forget about it. The fact that everything's uniquely seasoned and presented that well, it's top tier. 5 out of 5 plus. It's not even a question. Here we have the omnivore approved sashimi selection. We have the unagi, so the eel. We have Japanese scallops. We have like a red snapper, and then we have a traditional roll with snapper, egg, carrots, and salmon inside. We're going to start with the eel. Because I love eel. Like, love eel. You've seen me get eel at Tokyo Dining. When we go out, get sushi on our own, or even just Japanese food. I'll do eel and rice all day long. That color. Don't be afraid. It's not Ursa's eels. They're not going to bite you. The texture, the flavor, the experience. That's a 5 out of 5 plus. It's rare that I get eel that good. I don't think I've had eel that tasty since we moved to Orlando. Bar anything. Tokyo Dining. That's barring Morimoto. That's barring any place we've ever seen in town. It's that good. Then we have the Japanese scallop. It looks like a little bit of dressing on top. I don't think I've had Japanese scallop before, so I always like to get, when I go get sushi or sashimi, get something new. It's something familiar. So I usually get two things that I'm familiar with, and then a stretch, which is something that I haven't had before to try. This is that thing. Ooh, wow. If you weren't awake, say you've worked all day. Not that we work. Everybody knows that vloggers don't have real jobs. We do, but other vloggers don't have real jobs. The dressing on top is yuzu mixed with wasabi, so it's like super citrus concentrated with like sort of wasabi spice. It's like a tsunami of flavor. 4.5 out of 5 plus. Next up, we have the red snapper. All presented. I love the color on it. All nice and textured and green with the rice on it. I don't know if you could tell in the video, but on top it was covered with rock salt, like salt-based style. So you got a concentrated salt taste on top of the snapper. There's little touches here, little touches. 4.5 out of 5 claws. Then we have this gigantic roll with egg snapper, salmon. Look at that. Look at the color in that one. It's so festive. It's almost Christmas colors. It's like a chilled sushi omelet. You're almost there. 4 out of 5 plus.
You got the Yogan, which is basically a mule with vodka. And it tastes like one, which I'm here for, so I give it a 4.5 out of 5 mules. It's mulelicious. And if you don't come here and get a mule, what's wrong with you?
I like the name Yogan for a drink. It sounds powerful, but elegant. Usually when you have a mule, especially here in America, they name all sorts of weird names. If it's whiskey, it's a Kentucky mule. If it's vodka, it's a Moscow mule. If it's gin, there's another name for it that's escaped my memory. I'm sure you could do something weird like a rising sun mule that would be extremely culturally inappropriate. Yogan is a much better name. Start giving your mule's actual names and stop being so general and boring. It's like drinking from a Japanese spring. Excellent balance of ginger beer. Usually, if it's like too much or too little, I hate mules. This is a very nice balance. 4 out of 5 plus.
Now we have some beautiful agadashi tofu, which is typically not vegan, so I'm cool with that. And then we have some lotus root, mushroom, and forbidden rice. All of these ingredients are not things that I'm going to complain about because they're all things that I absolutely love and appreciate. The lotus root on the tofu are extra crunchy along with the forbidden rice, so I'm expecting it to be really good together. Oh my goodness. That is baked to perfection. It's so good with the seasonings. You have like a nice like crisp to it. This is probably one of the best tofus I've had on property. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 tofus. It's really good. I don't even want to share it with Bear, but I know I have to. So cheers to sharing, even though I don't want to.
This is a beautifully presented dish. Forbidden rice. We brought it home a couple times and cooked. It's cooked Black rice takes a little bit longer, but like a much deeper flavor than you normally get with rice. Definitely not hard to find if you guys want to try forbidden rice. Lotus fruit, we recently got fed at Kona, even though they told us it was something else. It was interesting to see that again so soon, especially with agadashi tofu, which when the princess can get vegan, she absolutely loves. Let's go ahead and build us a bite here. Cheers. That is one of those dishes always, when the second it hits your mouth, is like, especially coming from an omnivore, is how dare you be vegan? How dare you be vegan? And taste that amazing. I thought the silken tofu was good. I have called tofu at Strongwater Tavern in at Universal Resorts good. I've called a lot of tofu good, but none of those tofu. Just like emperor tofu, okay? Forget the queen. Rest her soul. For some people. That is amazing tofu. Amazing. I'm almost speechless. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I'm rambling. It's so good. I can see why she doesn't want to share this. If this was a normal restaurant, not so fancy, we might be fighting over this, like arm wrestling the table for to get snacks. She'd probably win.
The sauce, as first, the karashi ponzu sauce.
So we have tempura lobster with 2 sauces. I'll be the first to say it. I think lobster, as a seafood, is an absolute waste. I don't think it tastes that much better than crab, and I think it's overpriced. Crab is usually overpriced. Lobster even more so. So I'm hard pressed to find lobster that I enjoy, 1, and 2, I think is anywhere near worth the value. This is what I'm curious about. I don't think I've ever had tempura lobster before. So this isn't so much a sauce as it is basically wasabi powder. I don't even know how to dip this. I think I'm gonna dip it here first. Get a little powder. Take a little bite. I don't believe how that tastes, so I'm gonna try this again. Where do the other sauce? Take your favorite Disney movie. I don't care what it is. It could be Aladdin. It could be Atlantis. If you're a man of culture, it could be Treasure Planet. Or WALL-E, if you're a purist like myself. Make that food. Put it on a plate. Season it. Like you remember your first time watching those movies and eat it. That's this. This is a food that I already know is going to haunt my waking dreams until I have lobster this good ever again. I don't sing the praises of lobster very often. Or food this well. Now, there may be like an eighth of bias built in because we do love Japanese food, but this is a bar for lobster that I don't think I'm ever going to meet again. Like ever. The langoustine of Victoria and Albert, none of that came close to what I just put in my mouth. So 5 out of 5 claws, one of their necessities list.
This is the Yuba roll with tofu, daikon, cucumber, and miso with a yuzu kosho dressing. It's very beautiful. Little option here. Oop. I'm just gonna grab one of these beautiful little babies down here. Look how sexy that is. Let's go. Cheers. Citrus and lettuce is all I have to say. Super citrusy, enough to make me tear if you didn't notice. which I don't usually tear, but it's citrusy enough to tear. Really good though. Lots of like fresh veggies in there. 2.5 out of 5 veggies. It's just not my jam. It's not my jam.
This is an interesting package. The second that they said that there was seaweed paste in here, I got a little bit worried for the princess. But it looks akin, and this is basically dumbing it down to be a Japanese vegetable burrito. To break it down to its base. Stuff of veggies with a seaweed paste sauce in a sauce. It's got a very interesting texture and flavor. The outside feels like tofu skin, which is kind of a complicated process to make. But I'm not saying it is that, but it's that level of consistency, so it feels very different than the crunchy vegetables inside, which can be very off-putting if you're not expecting it. It's something got a nice flavor to it, definitely more muted and mellow than the other flavors we've had thus far, but I don't hate it. It's definitely interesting and crunchy. Definitely fresh. I don't think any other restaurant can pull it off as well as they did. 3 to 5 plus. Here's the actual sashimi, so I messed with the name the first time. I'm sure the diehards community are already mad at me for messing with the name. And using chopsticks and using my hands like you guys did last time we came over here. But you know what? I'm having a good time. And having a good time while respecting the culture is really all that matters. I'm gonna go ahead and lay the radish here on top. This looks like another mixture of both the yuzu and wasabi, but let's find out. Definitely fresh and tad bit slimy, but satisfying. Well, there's definitely the citrus, but less of the heat from the wasabi before. It's decent. Not my favorite so far, but still really good. 3.5 out of 5 plus. Then we have basically this bit here. I'm gonna assume this whole thing is edible. I'm just gonna eat it all. Cause why waste? More fish roe. Very like filled with herb. I feel like almost with the herbs and spices, it's almost like a hint of fried chicken. Don't know where I'm getting fried chicken from. The flavor is just nice and strong, consistent all the way through. With a very strong taste. That's more my speed. 4 out of 5 plus. I'll take this. I'm being mean to myself. I'm gonna do a little dab of wasabi this time. With the green onion. And put that on top. And I think it's on a lemon. This is going to be interesting. This is what I call a self-food challenge. Ooh. You know, I call myself experienced with chopsticks, but this one's kind of hard to pick up. There we go. And it's like a razor thin sliced piece of fish on top of like a whole charred lemon. You know, it's like those lemon scented hand wipes. That's what my tongue feels like right now, but in a good way. 3 out of 5 plus.
So we have some, they're soba noodles, but they're actually buckwheat noodles. They're darker. Buckwheat noodles are better in the summertime in Japan when it's hot out. And then we have some tempura, which is mostly mushroom, which I'm, and then we have some matcha here. So I'm gonna take a small amount of like is there a small tempura? I feel like no is the answer to this. I'm gonna put it in here, but I'm gonna grab some noodles. Let's just go with the noodles. It smells so jasmine-y. The noodles are really fragrant because of the broth. It's very jasmine-y. The tempura is also battered beautifully and nice and thick, and it adds to the noodles and the broth and doesn't detract from. So I think it's a really good dish, and I can't say anything bad about it. I'm gonna give it like a 4 out of 5 noodles. I just wish it had more fixins.
It's one thing I'm afraid of when we eventually make it to Japan. Now, for those of you who are new here, we actually had plans to go to Japan in fall of 2020, but obviously the world kind of fell apart, and that sort of fell through. We have friends in Japan that have come here to visit us, and we have plans to go visit in Japan eventually. Obviously, it's going to be a big challenge from both a filming perspective and an eating perspective, because a lot of the Japanese food doesn't exactly cater towards vegan food. There are some. Things are changing, but there's also a lot of mushrooms, and the princess does not like dirt rooms, as we call them. So I'm going to take some of these off her hand. I'm actually going to dip some of that little matcha powder. I'm going to drop that in her bowl. I'm going to take some of these buckwheat soba noodles and drape those on top like Cheeto's wig. And if you know what I mean by Cheeto, I don't feel bad about it all. The rule is, if the broth is trash, the noodle bowl is trash. It's good broth. The soba noodles, interesting texture, very well cooked. The broth is, it can use a little bit more seasoning, but it's better than other places I've had on property. And matcha, tempura vegetables go a long way. Let's try the broth by itself. Broth is a very unique flavor, but it's definitely leaves better than what we've gotten here on property. I honestly don't mind this dish. I kind of wish it had been a part of my tasting menu. As it is, I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5 flaws. Less mushrooms. That's my only critique. Less mushrooms.
With the pumpkin puree.
Yes. We finally come to my main course, which is a roast smoked duck, which came out with a little like dome of smoke over it, and you have these like basically like seared medium rare duck over mushrooms and some other veggies. There's some like heirloom tomatoes and little like mushrooms in here. Now the duck is cooked to order, so if you want rare, you can get rare. I just got medium rare. Normally if I go to places, I get chef's choice, whichever. But it's almost like ahi tuna, but duck style. Just get an all-in bite. More of this spinach you don't often see. A lot of mushroom. Thick pieces of duck. Rich, savory and juicy duck. The mushrooms and greens. It's very garlicky. But very well seasoned. You don't feel like they're trying to hide anything with the garlic. The garlic's part of the dish. Part of the dish. Part of the ship. Part of the crew. Part of the shoot. 10,000 Leagues Upon a Flying Dutchman. Either way, that is very good duck. Probably best duck I've had since Tiffin's, which is before we started YouTube. But very, very good. Look at the duck by itself. I'm sure to hide it really. Your skin on duck, a little roaster on the side, seasonings all across there. I'd say it's better than the duck mukbang we did at Disney Springs.
Morimoto.
Probably better value overall. That's good. That's a 4.5 out of 5 class. I've had far too much fun with this review. I almost feel guilty for putting this on YouTube because we're having so much fun here. The goal passed though. I'll get over it. Duck, spinach, mushroom, edamame, and grapes, oddly enough. Chewy but delicious. So we have the final drink on the menu here, kami. And I said it was creamy, but just for the sake of caution, it's just going to be me drinking this one. This little decorative crane in the same sort of dish that we got our salads in earlier. So delicate. It's basically a stemless martini glass. Now this one has gin in it, along with some other things, gin, sake, and a couple other things. It smells amazing. If the crane can swim in it, maybe I can swim in it. As I spill over my shirt. Ooh, it's very good. Very easy to spill, but very good. I have made a huge mess of myself. Either way, it reminds me of the unfiltered Nigiri sake that you can get out in actual Japan Pavilion and Garden House, but more rich combined with gin. It's a very nice flipper. I wish I could get this cocktail in place of this sake any of the week. 4 to 5 plus. So here we have an after dinner broth or soup, like miso soup. It's got mushrooms and green onion. Nice and cloudy. I think miso works a lot better to me after dinner, honestly. It is very hot. Like Breath of the Dragon hot, but very good. The mushrooms and green onions in balance. Nice and cloudy with that miso flavor. Can't go wrong with that. 3 out of 5 plus.
This is one of 2 of your plant-based options. This is the strawberry yuzu sorbet with a shusai jelly, which I'm kind of excited for because you get like 2 different versions of this jelly. And then the sorbet is like unlike any version of sorbet that I've seen before. So I'm kind of excited for this. It's just like chopped up and deliciousness. Cheers to Takumi Tei and Mitsukoshi. Oh wow. That is citrusy, but very delicious, and I really like the jelly. This is a 5 out of 5 desserts. I don't even want to share this with Bear. I picked the right dessert.
I feel like we've encountered sorbet like this before. That was sort of like flash frozen, sort of like Dippin' Dots and like little shapes. I can't remember where. Probably wasn't on YouTube.
I don't remember where.
Was it Nola? Somewhere we've seen this before. Either way. This is a jelly into the sorbet. This is actually an option on the menu, even if you're not plant-based. So I could have gotten this as well, but chose to get something different. It's different, but I'm excited. The flavors here are so unlike anything else you get on World Showcase to go on different planet, or stay with me, a different country.
Oh.
I know, so wild, but so good. 4.5 out of 5 plus. So we have a cute little dessert for me. I got a creme brulee for dessert. Not a creme brulee person. I've had it a couple times. I don't think I've ever had it on the channel. Maybe once.
Turf Club. Vegan creme brulee.
Very creme brulee, but non-vegan creme brulee.
Bob. Before times.
Very concerned about the amount of dairy in this. This is going to be a 3 magic pill dessert. I've never done 3 magic pills for anything. Besides maybe the iciest of ice creams, and even then, not all at once. This one I'm very afraid of. But it's so cute, how could I not? So if the princess trained me properly to like crack the crust on the creme brulee.
If it has one.
It doesn't really have one. It smells delicious. A little raspberry. It looks like grape on top. Nice and creamy. It does have a little crust on it, it's just not like a hard crust. Torch just like you normally see creme brulee. Here for this. It's almost like a calligraphy pen on your taste buds. So good, so delicate, but it's still very light. I was expecting like a super rich flavor that was sort of like not allowing me to eat the entire thing. I'm finishing this. 4.5 out of 5 paws. I had a lot of stuff to say about last time we came to Takumi Tei because I don't like places that don't have an actual menu for the princess. Every complaint, every bit of shade that I've ever thrown, I take all that back. I said it now. I'll probably say it again if you guys ask me later. Best. When I say best, I mean the best vegan experience on all of World Showcase. fight me. We can do paces at dawn.
This sencha green tea is from Shizuoka. Shizuoka is the famous for the tea, and this Shizuoka is the Mount Fuji. Do you know Mount Fuji? Mount Fuji is actually in the Shizuoka, so the water is so clean.
We have this after meal green tea that is hot and delicious and will go very well with dessert. It's like a nice little caffeine. I prefer tea after a meal instead of coffee. You tell me in the comments, what do you prefer, tea or coffee?
I feel like that's the Persian in you.
Persian tea is the best tea of all the teas. This green tea is good, but it's not Persian tea. But it's green tea and I will drink the whole thing. It is thebomb.com. I'll give it 4.75 out of 5 green teas. This is the tits.
Nice little bit of green tea to cleanse the palate after all those delicious foods. It almost feels like the end of a ceremony. In a good way. 3.5 out of 5 plus.
You still have
I should drink more tea.
You still have to finish your alcoholic drink though.
I'm slacking.
Always when we go to the Japan pavilion, do we get the best origami? We went to Tokyo Dining, and I got a Baymax, and here we got a beautiful crane, like so beautiful. So beautiful, I love it.
Takumi Tei is back. I'm gonna say it one more time in case you didn't catch that, and some of you skipped to the end because yes, I know you guys do that. Best Japanese food on property, best vegan experience on all of World Showcase.
You will
bar
not
none.
beat the service, you will not beat the food, you will not beat anything at Takumi Tei. It is amazing. Amazing. Amazing.
If you're asking yourself if the omakase menu is worth it, hands down.
Yes.
Better than Victoria Albert's. She's not gonna agree with me. Better than Mr. Paul.
Monsieur Paul. Better than Monsieur Paul.
100% worth the $150 it costs for the plant-based menu and the $250 for the non-plant-based menu. It's an experience and service worth every dollar.
1000%. It is the best meal at Epcot. Period.
But we want to know what you guys think, given what you've seen, what you've experienced along with us. Let us know in the comments what you think of Takumi Tei, or if you would ever consider coming here, or you're interested in even just some of the dishes that they have. If you come here, you can tell them that we sent you, but they don't know who we are, so either way.
Tell them anyway.
We love it here. Let us know in the comments what you guys think or anywhere else you'd like to see us go. The comments is always any place to find us. Hit that notification bell if you want to see other videos like this, and
We have new videos 5 days a week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday.
we'll see you soon.
Be sure to subscribe and like this video. And if you don't comment, who's gonna go to Takumi Tei? Is it us?
You heard the girl.
I'm not Enda. I'm not that cool.
Good evening, and welcome to World Showcase
And
Lagoon.
I'm walking sideways.
In just 15
so not
minutes,
as cool
we invite
still.
you to experience
I can't
a
remember
moment
that.